Good morning, class. Welcome to another day of safari. Today is brought to us by the letter H. Can you think of an animal that starts with H? A horse, right? What else? That's one. That's another good one. Ooh, smart. Very good. All right, now let's go ahead and learn about a few animals that start with H that maybe you haven't heard of. So let's start it off with the Hyrax. Can you say Hyrax? Hyrax. Hyrax. So hyraxes are small mammals that live in Africa and Southeast Asia. And yes, we're learning about a lot of African animals because, well, that's where most of my niche knowledge is based. So they look like rodents, and actually, I was under the impression that they were rodents, sort of related to capybaras, but they're not. They're not. They're small hoofed mammals, more similar to the chevrotain, but not in the antelope families, not like dik-diks. I know, it's starting to get confusing. But they are considered an ungulate, which is any animal with hooves. They sort of look like groundhogs, and they're about the same size too. But they're actually broken. There's about 6 different species of hyraxes, and they're broken into 3 categories based on the environment that they live in. So there's bush hyraxes, rock hyraxes, and tree hyraxes. And bush and rock hyraxes are similar in the facts that they are mostly active during the day. They are social creatures and live in groups, whereas tree hyraxes are solitary, arboreal, and nocturnal. So that's fun, sort of like bush babies, huh? Galagos. They are herbivores. And predators include pythons, birds of prey, and big cats like lions and leopards and caracals probably, and servals. Yeah, cool. Um, their closest living relatives of the hyrax are actually the elephant and the manatee and the dugong. Remember the dugong? Yeah. So that's pretty cool, huh? An animal that looks like a rodent isn't a rodent, but it has hooves and is related to the elephant. Crazy! So, check out a rock hyrax. I actually got to know some rock hyraxes when I was studying conservation in Kenya and Tanzania, and they're probably the #1 reason I got my rabies shot. Not because they give rabies, but just because I knew that if I had the opportunity to Steve Irwin get up close to an animal, I probably would. You shouldn't. You should always stay a safe distance away. Keep your hands and arms to yourself, and don't go poking and prodding anything that you don't know, period. But a ranger does what a ranger does. And so I got real close to some rock hyraxes, got some good pictures. I'll go ahead and post those. But remember, anytime you're around wildlife, it's important to respect its space, respect its environment, respect its time. Don't go wasting its time. So always practice those ranger guidelines when out exploring. So that's the hyrax. Let's learn about another animal that starts with H. Ooh, this is a fun one. Do you know what a hellbender is? Sounds like some scary animal coming out of the depths of the earth, huh? It's not. Or maybe it is. It's actually a giant salamander that lives in the eastern United States. It seems to have a plethora of colorful nicknames from the locals, but my favorite was the snot otter. He's so gross. So, hellbenders or snot otters can grow to be about 2 feet long, and that makes it the largest and heaviest amphibian in North America and one of the largest amphibians in the world. They eat crayfish or crawfish, personal preference as to how you say it, and small fish. And they're considered threatened. They're not in like a lot of danger, but populations have been declining for some time now because of human activities. Oh, looks like Miss Nibbles is out. because of human activities. So they are near threatened, and again, their habitat as well as the hellbender itself should be protected. So, can you say hellbender? If you're under the age of 15, ask an adult. Oh, and this next animal that we're going to learn about is super cool. In fact, it's an animal that I just learned about when I was prepping for this class. So it's always fun to learn something new. So the next animal we're going to learn about is the Hoatzin. You're like, doesn't that start with a W? Watson? No, Hoatzin. So Hoatzin. Hoatzin. What the heck is a Hoatzin? A Hoatzin is a very dinosaur-looking bird that lives in South American swamps and mangroves. It's like the size of a chicken. And when they hatch, what's really unique about these birds is two things that sets them apart from other birds. The first is the chicks are born with claws, actually two claws, on either of their wings. And this allows them to like climb up trees and stuff. And when this happens, that is because I got a good quote from Britannica Encyclopedia here that explains why these baby birds have claws, super dinosaur-like. Nests are built over water, and if danger threatens, the young Hoatzins, which are excellent swimmers, will plunge to safety, return to shore, and then use their claws to climb back up to the nest. That's so cool. That's not bird-like at all, which makes them very unique. Another unique thing about them is they don't digest food like regular birds. They actually digest food more like a cow. So they let it ferment and like ruminate in their gut, which is why they're called the stink bird or poo bird, is because they smell so bad from all that rotting food in there. Blah. Oh, by the way, the claws of the baby birds, they eventually disappear as they get older. So they're not real good flyers, and they just spend a lot of time sitting around in the trees, digesting their food, sort of like humans right now during this time. They're like orange, they have orange and brown feathers all over their body, and then they have a bright blue featherless face with red eyes. They're sort of creepy looking, but like super dinosaur looking. Both males, raising the chicks is a family affair. Both the males, females, and siblings all chip in to raise the young. That's pretty cool, huh? Yeah, so those are the three animals. And again, these are just some quick facts about them. If one of these animals really interests you, I highly encourage you to learn more about it and share what you learn. We would absolutely love to know more about the Hoatzin, the Hellbender, and the Hyrax. So go ahead, get your field guide, take your notes, draw your pictures, do your research, and join us for another great class tomorrow. Stay wild, friends. Bye!